You are now tuned in to the Drop a Gem on 'em podcast with Speak No Evil and LEO. Hey guys, drop a gem on 'em.
Yo, this your boy Winky Wright, and you're rocking with the most famous show on the planet, the Drop a Gem Show, with Speak No Evil and LEO.
It's the Rock, Hot Sam Rocker. You're checking out the Drop a Gem Show with Speak No Evil and LEO.
This is Pete, Kid Chocolate Quillen. And when I'm not in the gym training for a fight, I'm checking out the Drop and Gym Show with Speak No Evil and L.E.O. Stay tuned.
This is World Champion Jan Tony. You gotta check out the Drop a Gem Show with Speak No Evil and LEO.
Hey, how you doing? This is Chop the Boss of Portland. Seven-time world champion. Speak No Evil is coming to you in a few minutes. Check out the radio station.
Yeah, what up, y'all? You already know what the fuck this is. Drop a Gem Boxing coming to you live with episode number 2. Speak No Evil holding it down. We got a lot of dope shit coming up on the channel. Got the new Winky Wright clip up there. We're gonna drop a bunch of Winky Wright clips, a bunch of Devin Alexander clips. Richardson Hitchens, who just won a fight. We got a nice interview with him coming up. We have a lot of dope stuff, man. A lot of dope interviews. We're gonna have a lot of dope just podcasts, man. But what I really wanted to talk about today was the fights last night. Good fights, man. PBC put on a good card. Obviously, you had the Shawn Ugas fight, which we'll get into. That was the main event. We'll get into that in a minute. But there was a couple of good fights. I didn't get to see the Bivol fight on the Zone and all that. I'm going to go back and watch that and, probably put something out about that. But I kind of stayed with PBC last night. And had some good stuff, man. The preliminary fights that FS1 had on was decent. A couple of green welterweights. Southpaw Samuel Macho Figueroa versus Stanionis was Stanionis is an Olympic gold medalist. I believe he signed to Ringstar Promotions, which is Richard Schaefer's promotional company. Schaefer was actually in his corner. It was a lopsided fight. I feel Stanionis dominated it. He's hitting him with a lot of uppercuts, hard uppercuts, decent body work. They traded a couple overhand rights early in the first round. But pretty much Stanionis was hitting it with left hooks, overhand rights, just nice shots, man. The question was, and the announcers brought this up, was it more, and Lennox Lewis and them brought it up, was it more of a case where Stanionis had great power, but Figueroa had just a great chin, or was it maybe that Stanionis didn't have as much pop as people might have thought? They're still very, very young in the game. Prospects. He's a prospect. But it was a good fight, man. I enjoyed the fight. I thought it was a great fight to come out to. What was interesting is that they said Stanionis, they actually brought Edislande Lara in because Figueroa is a southpaw, so they brought him in to spar with him, which is crazy. Everyone to know, even say what you want about Edislande Lara, he's had incredible fights. I know as of late, his last couple of fights, has been, he's left something to be desired, but he's an incredible fighter. Cubans are incredible fighters. Pretty much every Cuban out there, from Luis Ortiz to him to, just all of them, man, are incredible fighters. No, they brought him in to spar and get some southpaw work, which was dope. So it was a pretty good fight. I would like to see what Stanionis got in the future and who they'll put him in there with. That'll be interesting. He still has a lot of work to do and a lot of things to prove, but he dominated the fight. Figueroa had decent chin. We'll see what's up with him in the future, and not too bad, man. Not too bad of an opening round joint out. They said it was cold out there. They was boxing outside in Carson, Cali, so not too bad, man. Pretty good fight to open it up, man. The next fight they had was the bantamweight joint between Carlos Payano and Carlos Payano and Damian Vasquez. Payano, the veteran, he's a former champion, seasoned veteran. He just outclassed Vasquez, man. I'm not even sure why they sent Vasquez in there with Payano, man. if they wanted to get him some experience, they could have got him in there with somebody else, because he got straight. He caught a beat down, man. He's basically a punching bag. He got the L, but he's young. He has a chance to come back. Payano's been in there with some good people. He's done some things. Like, I believe he only has 2 losses. And I just thought that it was strange why they would put that kid in there, man, so early. Maybe they don't have confidence in him. Maybe they thought he was ready. Not sure if they just misgauged that, but yeah, a little strange, man. Juan Carlos Payano, he definitely beat down Damian Vasquez, man. But still action packed, a lot of punches. I'm not really the super bantamweight guy, but it was decent. It was entertaining. I believe there was a head. I think the most damage that Vasquez did was he headbutted Payano, and he caused him a little cut, but there was no type of damage done from any type of boxing or power shots. So that was also a decent fight. This is all building up to the main event with Showtime Shawn Porter. Shout out to him. We've had Kenny on the show before. Shout out to Showtime Shawn Porter and Ugas, another very talented Cuban fighter. But like I said, we'll get into that in a couple more minutes. What was intriguing with me was the heavyweight bout. F.A. Ajagba versus Mansour, hardcore Mansour. This was very interesting, man. I'm going to be keeping my eye on Ajagba. He looks like, and I think Boxing Ego said this, and I when he said this, I said the same thing when I was watching it. He looks like the freaking Nigerian Ivan Drago, man. He's turning his rights over real crazy. Mansour is 46, I believe. He's a hard puncher if you ever seen Mansour fight. But he was just totally outclassed. He didn't want no smoke. He did like a weird scream, like he was catching a beat and he was catching overhand rights and just monster shots. And then at one point, he was knocked down real quick early in the first. And then I think he survived that. He might even survive. He survived the second. And then at one point he got hit and he was screaming. He was like, ah! And he was like, awesome, like I'm going all the way in, and then just caught. I think he caught a left jab or something. That was kind of funny, man. But Ajagba, man, has a lot of power, man. He's still very early in the game, man. The overhand rights, like I said, a couple of nice left hooks. Down the line, I think he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I believe Schaefer's rocking with him too. I think Richard Schaefer's with him. I'd like to see him get in. I mean, shit, man. I think he's got like 8 or 9 wins. I mean, I know it's still early, and they're probably not gonna do this, but I would like to see him get in there right now with someone like a Dominic Brazil, King Kong, Ortiz. Even like a Dillian White, or even like a big baby Miller. Even no matter what happens with him and Joshua, I would love to see. And there's a bunch of others I would like to see him in there with, but I think he's ready to go right now. He has an incredible reach, power. He looked poised. He looked like a granny, and he was originally a soccer player turned boxer, but he's gonna be a problem, man. And then then if let's say he gets past those guys. Eventually, he'll be a very tough fight, I believe. Just from seeing what I'm seeing so far, he's got a little bit of ways to go. But you get him in there with obviously the Joshuas and the Fury and and Bomb Squad. I'd be crazy to watch him and Bomb Squad go at it. You know what I'm saying, down the line sometime. You know what I mean? That equalizer, that crack, that Deontay guy. Ajagba got some skills though, man. I don't know. I think I think Wilder lays him out right now, but. He got some crack too. He's going to be very interesting. He's very tall, and he very, very good fighter at this young stage in the game, man. I was very impressed by him. I know the other dude, he had the fight last time where the dude seen him and the bell rang and he said, "Fuck this, I'm out." I never seen no shit like that before. After the ref gave the instructions and all that, they go back to the corner, the bell rings, and the dude was like, "Fuck that." That was some real sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was some shit I never seen in my life. But yo, man, like I said, great, really outclassed Mansour. Shout out to Mansour. He's old. He needs to hang it up, man. He needs to call it quits. I know he's a good fighter. He's a hard puncher and all that, but he's not gonna do any type of any type of damage in this heavyweight division, man. Heavyweight division continues to improve, man, and we deserve it because all these years it was, it lacked luster, so to speak, for lack of a better term. But yeah, incredible, man. The main event, man, and let's take you back to. Let's talk about the main event. Showtime, Shawn Porter, Ugas. Yordenis Ugas. Very interesting fight, man. And stemming from the weigh-in, right? I was very shocked. Shawn Porter comes in a little bit overweight. Nothing crazy. I believe it was like a pound and some change, or 2 pounds. Right, and then they, as per the rules, you get 2 hours to shed those things. So him and Kenny and his team leave the weigh-in, and they get stuck in LA traffic. So that's not going to work. They were going to go try to hit a sauna and sweat it out, which is dangerous within itself with dehydration and all that. You seen what happened to Ramirez and all that. I'm sorry, not Ramirez. The guy he was fighting, I forget his name off the top of the head that time. He went in the sauna and stuff from dehydration. His name is skipping my brain at this point. But that didn't work. So they come back and they try a couple of things, and he's still a little bit short. So they wound up cutting his braids, and I was like, wow, does the hair weigh that much? And then later on they said that the sweat in his braids probably was putting him over the top. So they cut it, he makes it. But what's alarming to me is, and I've spoken with Kenny before, and I'm a Shawn Porter fan. I'm a fan of it, the way they do their thing with the Porter Performance Gym over there and all that, and they're very big on fitness. A little strange how he came in overweight. That's not like Shawn Porter. You know what I'm saying? Shawn Porter's usually in tip-top shape. His conditioning is phenomenal most of the time. All of the times that I've been watching him fight. But he just had a baby. He's making very good money. He's coming off, 2 big money fights with Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and he made a little something in the Berto fight. So listen, he didn't look out of shape by any means, but is he getting a little comfortable? I don't know. I know Kenny said he had to take him out of there and get him to a place where he could focus. You know what I mean? Because family life and. Like they say, it's harder to get out of bed and grind. It's harder. I forget who said this. Was it Floyd Mayweather? It's hard to get out of bed in the morning when you're getting out of bed in silk sheets to go run. But it was very minor. I kept opened my eye a little bit. Nothing too serious. He didn't look like he was fatigued at all in the fight. Stamina looked decent. He looked like he slowed down a tad bit in the later rounds. I don't know if that had more to do with Ugas or more to do with the conditioning, but he came out. He came out very fast in this fight. And these Cuban fighters are highly skilled, so I was interested to see how this worked. But they came out very, very fast, boxing on the outside a lot. Now, is this the trend that we're going to see more with Porter and he had Barry Hunter in his corner and as Kenny and Barrett, are they getting him to try to box more? And I hope they're not falling into this trap, because everyone says, oh, how Shawn Porter's fights aren't pretty. He makes an ugly fight. He's, bull rushes and football style, and he heavy body work in the inside, and it's an ugly fight. And I noticed, we noticed the Garcia fight. He's fighting on the outside, a lot of footwork, a lot of movement. He's trying to be like, lateral movement, and he's showboating a little bit, and which is cool, and he actually it looked decent, the boxing, man. But we're getting away, I think, in my opinion, are we getting away from what makes him Showtime Shawn Porter? What makes him such a threat in the welterweight division? What makes him one of the top welterweights in the division? He's the WBC champ. The bull rush, the inside, the dirty fight, not dirty, but just the ugly. You know what I'm saying? Grit, grimy, get at you inside, or no holds barred shit. That's what gives people the problems, man. That's what gave, Keith Thurman a problem. That's what gave Berto a problem. That's what has given, AB a problem. I hope we're not getting away from that. It's cool to show people different looks. Boxing on the outside a little bit, showing movement and everything. But switch it up, man. He was, to his defense, he was at points trying to get in there and get that bull rush and get heavy on the inside. is when they was fighting at the mid-range game. He was giving up like a little reach advantage, and Ugas was countering a lot. Ugas was timing him very good. You know, he was getting. I thought he got the cleaner shots on Shawn. I thought Shawn's work was, Shawn's work rate was more. He was more, a little bit more aggressive. But Ugas was, he was staring him down and ice grilling him after the bell sounded, and he showboating, putting up his arms and doing, and I'm like, what, nigga, what are you doing, bro? Like, yo, man, you gonna lose this fight. And when he started doing that, I was like, nah, if this fight is too close, Shawn's gonna get it, man, because the counter punching was good. He timed him very well. Ugas fought a good fight. Technically, he's a very good fighter. He was taking Shawn's work. He didn't seem overwhelmed. He seemed composed, but you gotta go get that strap, dog. That's the knock on him. And everyone, I saw it immediately, and I've heard some of the other guys talk about it, and I agree with them 100%. You gotta go get that belt. You feel what I'm saying? All that counter punching and showboating and putting your hands up and all this shit he was doing, man. Go get that belt, man, because you gotta be the aggressor. They're not gonna give it to you like that. This big shit on the line, man. Supposedly with maybe depending on the Errol Mikey fight, that Shawn and Kenny talking about they want to fight Errol. After that performance, I'm not sure, but I don't know if it was more of a styles make fights thing. Ugas, listen, I give Shawn and Kenny and them a lot of credit, man. Ugas was like, I heard Kenny say this in an interview, high risk, low reward. You know what I'm saying? Ugas is no slouch. So Shawn, listen, he goes, listen, outside of Errol Spence, who pretty much nobody's trying to fight right now, outside of Mikey Garcia and Kell Brook. I think they take tough fights, man. You got to give them their credit, man. He could have went a little bit softer. He could have went a little bit lighter. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this probably was mandatory, but regardless to the fact, it's a high risk, low reward. I would have just went in for Errol. I don't know if I would have taken this. He gets the split decision, very close fight, very hard to judge. Not a lot of clean shots landed all the way around. Ugas had some counter shots timed nicely, but it was very, very close fight. Ugas should have brought the pain a little bit more. He might have edged it out. You know what I'm saying? I just thought Ugas played himself to a certain degree, but listen, hats off to Ugas. He fought a great fight. Shawn did what he did. Shawn slowed down a little bit towards the later rounds. I guess all the movement and the outside and the combination of the two fatigued him a little bit. It didn't look too crazy. He slowed down a touch. Hey, listen, he's 32 now. Is he comfortable with the wife and the family, as he should be? He deserves that. We all deserve that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when a fighter gets tamed, that's a problem. Are we seeing the beginning of a fighter being tamed, or was it just, just an off night, so to speak? I mean, it wasn't vintage Shawn Porter. I know they're trying to change up, like I said, showcase his boxing skills a little bit more, his footwork a little bit more, and he looked pretty good, man. He looked pretty good in the Garcia fight when he fought on the outside a little bit, and he looked a little bit better even now. So they're working on that. I don't know if that's something like there's a chip on their shoulder. They're saying, oh, people think Shawn can't box, so we're gonna show everybody Shawn can box, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But the vintage Shawn Porter is what we need to see. And you can sprinkle in the boxing, the outside fighting, but we need Shawn on the inside, smothering, bull rushing, not giving you a chance to breathe. I think that's how Shawn is going to be able to remain who Shawn is. You know what I'm saying? That shit outside. If they try to go outside with Errol, they'll probably try to do that a little, because Errol's a killer to the body. So they'll but I think they need to smother Errol, man. I don't think the boxing shit's gonna work. Look at Lamont Peterson. It's a very, very skilled, highly skilled boxer. Kell Brook, highly skilled boxer. He worked for a couple of rounds, but at the end of the day, Errol punished him. Errol got him out of this. So I think Shawn needs to go back. I think they need to go back to the drawing board. That mid-range game. I don't think Errol's reach is as long as Ugas, so that might help a little bit. But I think they need to go back to the drawing board and figure out if they do wind up making this fight. I'm still not convinced they're gonna make this fight. Obviously, Errol's still got to get past Mikey, but I just don't see Mikey doing it. No matter how great of a boxer Mikey is, I think that power, he succumbs to that power at the end of the day. Yeah, man, I'm interested to see what happens. Shawn Porter squeaks out the fight. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people thought that, no, it was really split. A lot of people thought Ugas won. I was looking at comments and in the chat rooms and all that stuff, and a lot of these channels, live streams, people thought Ugas won. A lot of people thought Porter won. A lot of people thought it could have been a draw. I'm gonna give it to Porter. He squeaked it out in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Ugas could have won if he had a little bit more work in there. Porter, I believe, landed more punches, throw more punches, and landed more punches. People are saying, let's address that. They were saying that Shawn Porter slipped in the late rounds. I forget what round it was, the 10th or something like that. And people were saying, that should have been a knockdown. That was 100%. Keith Thurman and Boom Boom Mancini were arguing about this on the telecast. Keith was saying it wasn't a slip. His right foot gave out from under him. Mancini was like, no, it's because he got hit. His foot gave out. No, Ray Mancini, you are 100% wrong, sir. And I say that respectfully. That was a slip. 100% a slip. Keith Thurman, you were absolutely 100% correct. You stood up for Shawn, which is real. That was definitely not a knockdown. That was a knockdown. It would have been a clear victory in my opinion. Or that would have been the thing to put Ugas over the top. But definitely not a knockdown. Definitely was a slip. And like I said, Shawn fought a good fighter. I didn't think he had his A game with him. I think they need to get a little bit more hungry, and I think they will, man. I think Kenny's a really good trainer. You know what I'm saying? He cares for his son, and they got Barry Hunter, who's a phenomenal boxing trainer. So I think they'll take a look at that. They'll assess what they did wrong, what they did right, and if they make that Errol fight, I just think you're gonna see a different Shawn Porter. You're gonna have to, because they hungry, man. It was funny. Keith Thurman in the beginning in the telecast, they were interviewing Errol. And he said, so you think this win against Mikey Garcia will solidify you as the number 2 welterweight? And, Errol chuckled a little bit. But, Keith, I love you. I fuck with you heavy. But coming off your last performance, there was a lot of ring rust, brother. You got to shake some of that rust off, man. You're not ready for Errol right now. I think you need at least like one more fight. Maybe 2, but one more before you get in that ring with Errol. But... also, Pacquiao was talking about he want that smoke with Errol. So, if it's between Pacquiao and Shawn Porter trying to make that fight, Pacquiao's going to get that fight. He's the bigger name. Errol's looking at the legacy. He does have a belt, you know what I'm saying? It's not the WC belt, but he does have a belt, but he's definitely the bigger name, and he's the bigger box office draw. There's a bigger bag involved in that shit. So Pacquiao's got first crack at whoever he wants. And I wouldn't mind seeing that, man. Pacquiao looked good off the Broner fight. He looked still very fast, man. Pacquiao's amazing, man. The Matisse fighting, and it was decent. So he's coming off a couple of good victories. So I wouldn't mind seeing him and Errol get it in. I think Errol wins because I think that power is just too much for Pac-Man. But listen, if they make the Pacquiao Spence fight after the Garcia fight, I know I'm not giving Mikey a shot, not based on skill, just based on sheer strength and power. They give Pacquiao if Pacquiao does the Errol fight, I'm cool with that. If Porter gets it, I'm cool with that. A lot of good boxing coming up next week. Pay-per-view, Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. I'm definitely going to buy that. Like I said, I'm going to check out the DAZN. A lot of good things happening with the DAZN. Looks like Wilder is going to be signing with them if he hasn't signed already. I heard him on the Boxing Voice, which is crazy, which kind of takes out Eddie Hearn. And, listen, if he's with the DAZN, that Anthony Joshua fight is going to be imminent. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard to run from that. So we're probably going to be getting that Wilder Joshua fight, which is, I'm cool with. A lot of people wanted to see the Fury Wilder too. Yeah, I would have saw it, but if you give me my choice, I rather see the Wilder Joshua. Obviously the negotiations were very frustrating for all parties involved. with Wilder and Joshua, but I believe Wilder's Dominic Brazil's gonna fight him. He wins that fight. He might get the winner of Joshua Baby Miller, and I think Joshua's gonna beat Baby Miller. I like Baby Miller. I fuck with him Brooklyn all day. I think Joshua gets that win, and hopefully we see that fight, man. And you sprinkle Luis Ortiz in there somewhere. He didn't look that great coming off his last performance, but sometimes you have an off night. I don't think it has anything to do with age. I just think he had an off night. So the heavyweight division looking good. Fa Ajagba, he's coming, man. Y'all better keep your eye on him, man. Y'all better do y'all fucking get your scouting game official, because this kid is coming, man. He's a monster. He's gonna be a monster, man. I'm gonna call him the Nigerian Drago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Good night of fights. Welterweight division looking good. Middleweight, heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Boxing's looking good, man. You know what I mean? Boxing's looking good. The young Lions is looking good. Shout out to Richardson Hitchens. He just had a really nice win. You know, you got Devin Haney, Ryan Alexander. I want to do a show about all the young bucks. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. The new crop is looking official. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because the current crop is getting a little bit older. They're not out of here yet, but they're getting a little bit older in it, early 30s and stuff. The new kids is looking crazy. So I'm gonna do a show about all the young Thundercats coming up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do something like that. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I appreciate y'all listening, man. I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Drop a Gem Boxing, the Drop a Gem Boxing podcast with your host Speak No Evil. If you a hip hop head, make sure you Google the Drop a Gem podcast. We have all the top hip hop heads on there, from Bone Thugs and Harmony, the MOP, we interviewed everybody, man. Check that out. Just Google that. We on multiple platforms. And we're going to get this Drop a Gem Boxing thing cracking too, because it's what we love, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody. Thanks for listening. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Please share it. And get ready for some dope interviews, man. Like I said, I'm going to release the Kenny Porter interview. It's really like retrospective interviews with these guys. They talk about their story. I find that very interesting. It's almost like autobiographies. Kenny Porter, we got Luis Collazo, we have Devin Alexander, Chop Corley, Winky Wright, James Toney, Hasim Rahman. I'm going to be dropping all these, clips and full interviews on the channel, along with my analysis and my take on fights coming up. So appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Drop a Gem Boxing. Let's get it. Peace.